Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Oh, come on, you serious? Hello, all you Wookiee warriors. How you guys doing? Welcome to Wookiee's review of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. On this section, we're going to be talking about my impressions, my opinions, and things I've noticed in the game, and give you guys my rating, my opinion on the game. So first off, I'd like to start off with saying the graphics are absolutely beautiful. It is probably one of the more beautiful games I've played since probably Sekiro. The graphics on the environment as well as the characters are absolutely beautiful. Like, the environment actually reacts to you and itself. If you actually, I don't know how many players will look at this. I just look at it because I know when we're reviewing the game. Is the environment will actually move the grass, and the environment reacts to you. Like when you pass through the grass. It reacts to you. The clouds. I always point out clouds and water for a couple of good reasons. If you play certain games, the clouds don't move, don't look all that impressive. It's like looking at a still frame picture, and sometimes it's okay. Depends on the game. Like if you play Zelda, that's an older video game like Zelda Majora's Mask, but that's a game that was out in 1995, and we're now in 2019. We can the system can handle the clouds moving, so I always look for that on video games. But the clouds looked absolutely amazing, especially when the sun actually is going behind the clouds and it's piercing through. I love the look of that. A lot of detail. I also like the water, because water effects is very hard to pull off on video games, because you're looking at a transparent surface, and it's very hard to get those colors just right. So when I see developers actually put water in a video game, I immediately always look at water and I appreciate it. I mean, I can give you an example of a video game that the water effects were not the greatest. Like if you're looking at a solid surface, like a lake, the graphics were great in the game. But when it came to water, it wasn't. Or like, I shouldn't say water, but rain. I was talking about Mass Effect Andromeda. I know why would I use that for a template? I actually enjoyed that game, but I'm not going to review that game here. I'm just using it as a example. In one of the games, you would see rain, but it wouldn't just fall off the character. It would actually stay on the character's armor and look like bubbles, and it looked really bad. And I didn't see that here. Actually, it looked like the water would like get on our character, and you would see him get wet. I actually appreciated that. The lightsaber effect felt real, felt genuine. Like if you watch the movie, you hear. I can't do it. I'm not a good sound effects guy. I can't do that on my voice, but you know what I'm talking about. It sounded like an actual lightsaber. I love that. The combat was really well done. Although I will say this, it did feel a little bit like a button smasher. Like you can press square, square all game long and still survive. But where the game, I think, once you increase the difficulty, you start using those other mechanics like parries. Now, well, I'll get to the difficulties in a minute. But the combat really felt fluent. I really liked it. It really felt fun to me. I liked the fact that there was like unblockable attacks. So your character grew red. Not your character, but the enemy appeared red. I mean, it's kind of like in Sekiro, where an enemy would show a red symbol above his head, which means it was unblockable. It means that you can't just like guard it. You have to dodge out of the way. I like that mechanic because it does add more to the game, more risk. You can't just sit there and like, okay, I'm just gonna block it. Another thing I liked about the game is our block meter. Like, I don't know what it would be called. Like, if it would be called stamina or what, or I just call it block meter, because basically the only time that ever goes down is when you block an attack. It actually goes down. If you lose it, it actually staggers you like for a few minutes, and that gives the enemy or the boss a chance to damage you. The force abilities really felt cool. Like, I like the one I think is a little bit probably OP, because I've gone to bosses and I've just used it nonstop. Although sometimes I'd rather not use it, because sometimes some bosses doesn't really affect the bosses so much. Is freeze. Like, we can actually freeze enemies, but it really felt the force powers aside from combat really felt useful for the environment and puzzles. Like, you have to freeze a fan to get through it, and you have to you can't just walk like, oh, I got plenty of time. You actually have to run through it to actually make sure you have enough time. I like the fact that they don't hand out force abilities to you, like, oh yeah, you're a Jedi, here's everything. Where you actually have to progress through the game, and you get them slowly throughout the game's process. Character models. I love the character model designs, especially on the Star Wars races. Like, when we first were playing as a scrapper. Essentially, that's our first role as in the game, is we're a scrapper. And our best friend is this really big alien, and his facial animations were on par. Like, I keep on putting out facial animation, because the facial animations in this game were absolutely amazing. Because especially on an alien race that's not human, it's not easy, because you have the face that who's going to be functioning in a little bit of a different way, going to have different facial features that are going to be reacting. So it's very nice to see the facial animations done well. Not even well, it was superb. I loved it. I like how the game designed its characters. Like, I heard this a lot on my stream, is like, I don't think I've ever heard of Cal or Kara or this or that. And there's a good reason for that. I've played a lot of video games where there's a lot of characters that I never mentioned, like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. I think his name was Atten. He never gets mentioned in any movies or in any of the lore. There's other characters throughout the Star Wars video games and lore that don't ever get mentioned. Does that mean that they're not important? Not to the current storyline, not timeline, but storyline. But Star Wars is such a vast universe that you can actually have fun with this game. Not the game, but the storyline. You can create your own. And that's what I feel like this game did, is they created their own storyline with their own characters. They made a character that we would care about and sympathize with, and we did get that throughout the story. I thought how they created Cal was very nice. We actually started kind of sympathizing with him after a while, because at first we don't really know much about him. But as time progresses, we start getting to know more about him and his motives, and I appreciate that. I can't say this enough. I loved BD1. Jeez, sorry. I loved BD1. There's not a lot of droids I like in the story, but I like BD1. R2-D2 is also one of my favorites. I can't remember the name of the droid. Oh gosh, on Star Wars Knights of the Republic. I haven't played that game in so long. I need to, but he was also one of my other favorite droids. I would like to say R2-D2, C-3PO is also a fave, but not as much as R2-D2 and BD1 right now. But I'm getting off topic. I thought BD1's character was really well designed. Like, you wouldn't think a droid would have character, right? But this one, most droids I've on the Star Wars actually have character to them. And I liked how BD1's character really flourished when we first met him, and because you think a droid that just goes beep 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 wouldn't have much personality, but BD1 has personality, and I like that about it. And not to mention, he's just darn right cute and adorable, you know. I love all the cameos we get in this game. Like, the game itself stands on its own. It's its own story, but it brings in cameos and pays homage to the current timelines. Like, we saw a cameo of... Slight spoiler. We saw a cameo of Vader. We saw a cameo of Saw, the guy from the Rogue One, before he went crazy. We saw... I don't remember who else was... What other cameos we had in the story. We did not see Luke Skywalker. And a lot of people are wondering why. Well, at this juncture, this just happened after Order 66. Like, a few years after. I should say 2-3 years after Order 66. So, Luke Skywalker would still be a child. He would be like 3-4 years old. And we had no business going to Tatooine. So, if they ever do a sequel, we might see Luke Skywalker. I don't know. I can't speak for certain because I don't know much about if they are making a sequel. But what else can I say about it? I like the fact that we can go to different worlds. That we get like 5 to 6 different worlds that we can go to and explore. I really appreciate the fact that all cosmetics that we get in the game are in game. We don't have to go to the store and buy them. Because they could easily have done that, but they did not. I respect that. And it does kind of get you wanting to go explore all these planets just to get those cool cosmetics. I really would have appreciated a New Game Plus, but there is no New Game Plus, sadly. Maybe the next game we'll get one if people really want a New Game Plus mode. Maybe it's just me because I'm lazy. I just don't want to have to re-level up my characters every single time I want to play the game. Sometimes I just want to play the game. But even if it doesn't have a New Game Plus, it's definitely, there's a lot of replay value there. I mean, I definitely want to go back and play it again. So we talked about customization. That was a big question. One of my viewers was asking me when I was streaming it is, can you customize your lightsaber? Now, before, like, I was going on information based on my previous games I've played, which was Star Wars Force Unleashed, because I've heard a lot of people talking like, oh yeah, this is so Star Wars on Force Unleashed. It's farthest from it, in my opinion. It definitely has some elements to it, but it's definitely far from it. Like, in Star Wars Force Unleashed, like, there is nothing you couldn't do that had to be done with the Force. You couldn't just, like, simply jump up somewhere. You had to do, like, a giant Force jump to get up there. You had to go up a elevator. You had to grab, like, starfighters and a starfighter wing and fit it into the hole and jump up and jump up and jump up. You had to go into a fight. Well, you had to, sorry, my mic is, I'm adjusting my mic as I'm doing this review. You had to do, like, a finisher move. You had to pretty much use the Force to crush it. I more so appreciated this versus, the finishers you had in this game, because it felt more satisfying than someone just crushing the crap out of a machine, you know? What else can I say about this game? We talked about force power, we talked about combat, we talked about graphics. Story. So I really did enjoy the story, and I really enjoyed the ending. I thought it was very reminiscent of Star Wars movies. Because if you guys remember in Star Wars movies, like the original Star Wars, we had an ending which was kind of left open that, oh yeah, we're coming out with another one. And it was just like, it was kind of like Conan in a way. I'm just hang in there with me for a second. Why do we say Conan? Because in Conan, at the end of every movie, the wizard would say, talk about Conan, and he would say, that is a tale for another time. And it felt like that to me. Like, there's going to be another game. And I feel like if this game does well, very well, which I have a feeling it is, because I've seen a lot of good scores on Metacritic and reviews for it. So I would be hard shocked if it was not a sequel to this game. But the story, I loved the story. It really kept me going. Really wanted me to keep on playing it. Like, there's so many other games I was playing, but I was like playing Zelda, and I'm like, no, I want to go play Star Wars again. So it's very rare for me to get a game where I'm so into that I want to keep playing. So we talked about the good. Now let's talk a little bit about the bad. So there's not a lot I can gripe about, but I will say something about it. Oh, before we start jumping into the bad, I'm sorry, I needed to talk about this as well. So I like the fact in the ship you actually can explore. It's not a very big ship, but you can explore it. You can, if you collect seeds, you can actually see seeds grow into the planters. You can. I don't think you can interact with the ship. Like, I rather, if they do a sequel, allow us to have actually more stuff to do in the ship. Like, how about Hollow Chest? Like, actually fight. Like, we hear. I think her name was Kara. She said she used to play Hollow Chess. I would love to have played Hollow Chess against her. Or heck, BD1 and me play chess. Or the pilot, it'd be cool, a nice little cool mini game we could play is like Hollow Chess. So yeah, more. I would like to have more interactions inside the ship in the next game, so we could actually have some like Hollow Chess and some other cool things that we can discover. Just small stuff like that. Now, also I want to talk about the lightsaber for a second before we move on to the bad things. I guess this could fall into the bad thing, but it's more personal. I don't like double lightsabers. I played with them in multiple video games. I just don't like them. And when you can customize your lightsaber however you want. Now, granted, don't have to play with the double lightsaber, but I know there's going to be plenty of people that get going to. But the functionality of a double lightsaber feels more like I'm just playing with a single lightsaber. And it doesn't really do a lot of damage when you're playing with a double lightsaber. It's actually cut in half, it feels like to me, because I do more damage when I'm using a single lightsaber. So if we do unlock a double lightsaber, or we get to make our own lightsaber as we did in the other game, or in this game, I would have rather us choose what hilt we wanted. Would you want a single hilt or a double hilt? No, the double hilt would honestly be double lightsaber, or a single hilt, which would be a single lightsaber. And then the skill tree, that's taken off the skill tree because you're now a single player, like a single lightsaber guy. But I feel that they did that because the game was going to be marketed as a double lightsaber. And you even look at the skill tree, once you unlock the double lightsaber, you actually gain double lightsaber abilities. But I think that would have added a little bit more customization to the character once we built our own lightsaber. Because I don't feel like he had that really good skill as a double lightsaber wielder. Because that... Now, the lore behind... Like, I've said this in my stream. The lore behind double lightsabers, only a handful of Jedi can actually use the double lightsaber effectively. Like, the boss was even more... Like, the bosses who had double lightsabers were better at using them than we were. But although there was a cool game mechanic where actually you get to use two lightsabers, a dual lightsaber, but it was only used as a power-up. And the power-up was used up by the force power we had, which I thought was kind of weird. But... Because how do you need a force power to just go... Why do you need that? Unless you're dumping the force inside your attack. I don't get it. But yeah, I just want to talk about the lightsaber for real quick. Alright, now we're jumping into the bad things. So I did talk about the lightsaber. I wish we could have customized it a little bit more, but like I said, that was just more of a nitpick, a personal nitpick of mine. I did feel the lightsaber, like I said before, the lightsaber felt like if you play double lightsaber, it doesn't do a lot of damage. You might as well just stick with a single lightsaber and hit. I did mention this as well. It did feel like a bit of a button presser at times, but it's something I don't really mind as much. I just want to point that out for those who are looking at picking this game up. Um, I would highly recommend you don't play this on easy, play it on normal. Even though, and I'll get to that in a minute. Um, I did notice a few bugs in this game that hopefully will get ironed out after this review. After this review, probably already been patched. I don't know. I'll have to turn on the game and play it again to see if they are still there. The first glitch is I force pushed a enemy off a ledge, and he was still shooting at me in midair. Like, he fell off the ledge, and somehow gravity caught him and allowed him to stay floating while he was shooting at me. And then I, like, force pushed him again, and then he fell again or something like that, and it just was really ridiculous. Like, I actually don't even think I force pushed him. I think I deflected his laser attack, his gunfire at me, back at him to kill him, and it just was like, why did gravity save him? You know, there was times where the camera kind of got jinky a little bit. Like, I was running up the ramp, and my character would fall through the ramp as I'm trying to get through because there was a cutscene coming in. I actually fixed it by jumping and going into the ship. Now, this is not like a personal problem of mine, but when I fought the boss, there was a frog boss. I don't remember the name of it. I was thinking like Okada or something like that, where the boss would not. Like, I was gonna try to push him off the ledge. That's how I was gonna do it. It was like, okay, follow me through the cave, and we'll push you off the ledge. And I couldn't do that. And here's the problem with that boss. It was such a small area, and he has such a big range on you, like such a large attack he can hit you with, that there is really not much room to dodge. I've had a lot of trouble with him. And yeah, I did beat him on normal. And I'll tell you why I'm impressed with that in a minute. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be patched maybe at some point, but I feel like that's something personal in the game, because that way it keeps you from doing what I was about to do, was push him off a ledge, because that would rob it of the boss fight. The game crashed. I had a real the game hard crashed. Like, I could not do anything. I had to restart my whole game and stream. Now it's like, aside from that though, the game was running really smooth. I don't know why it crashed, but it did. Hopefully that'll be something that will be patched out. There was one time, I don't remember when it was, but it was like I was trying to get on an elevator or get off an elevator, and I died. For no reason. I just died to gravity. That's something that really needs to be patched out. And ironed out a little bit. But aside from those few instances, the game ran really smooth, really nice. The game will take you a little time to get used to. That's why I think they have that first area. Now, I don't think you're supposed to beat the boss. Like, if anybody watches this video and I've actually done this at the first part when you fight Trilla, please, if you guys are able to beat her, please let me know. Actually, don't just let me know. Make a video out of it so I can check it out. Because this would be that I'd be thinking it would be really funny if you can beat Trilla at the very beginning. But I think you're supposed to die, not die, but to be defeated by her, so you can get rescued by Kara, or whatever her name is. That's really all I have for like bad things about the game. There's not a lot of bad you can do in the game. I would say there's a lot of abilities you're gonna have to unlock, so you're gonna have to spend some time farming, which I didn't do. But that's another thing, is the game doesn't feel like, oh, I need this. I'm not gonna be able to progress in the game. I beat the game without having to max out my tree. Now, then again, I had to reduce my difficulty from normal to easy at the last boss. That's another bad thing. I should mention, that's another bad thing I need to clarify. So, the way games or difficulties usually work are easy, which is the easiest difficulty for newcomers to a video game or maybe the series. Normal, which is like the mid-zone of difficulty, which you're going to have slight more difficulty than you would have on easy, but it's not going to be something that you're not going to be able to overcome. hard, which would be, it's going to be difficult, but not entirely impossible. Then you have another difficulty. Well, back in the 90s, we only had those difficulties. Now we have extremely hard, or you're going to die difficulty. And that's the difficulty where you have like one shot, one hit from anything will kill you. It felt like normal was hard because the boss Trilla would hit me with these abilities that almost one-shot me. Like, she would grab my head, and I don't know what she did to me, but like drain my health, not to heal her, but just drain it, and it would almost kill me. And then she would shoot a shockwave at me, it would almost kill me. And I reduced it to easy, so instead of my health going like this, it went like this. So there's a big difference there, and I think that needs to be a little bit tweaked so normal is feels more like normal, not hard. But I think that's all I got for the game. A few last minute notes. I really appreciate all the love and attention that Respawn did in the game. You can really feel the love they put into this game, and the love they put towards the fans who are big fans of the Star Wars games. There is a big Star Wars fan base here, and we haven't had a good Star Wars game in a while, in my opinion, because I don't like Battlefront. I don't like Battlefront 2. And I hope EA is taking notes and keeping those notes on file, and like, oh, this really was work. Really? Wow. Okay. Here, let me just grab... really? That works? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. And they file this and keep it like in a golden envelope so they can easily find it again and keep on making good games like this. Because we Star Wars fans have been hungry for this, and I am immediately impressed. I had probably the lowest expectations for this game, but my expectations were blown out of the water. What would be my rating right now for this game? Because of the glitches I mentioned in the game, and the fact that the difficulty settings were kind of messed up a little bit, in my opinion, I'm going to give this game a solid 9 out of 10. Now, I know someone already gave it a 9 out of 10, but the reason I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, I wanted to give it a 10 out of 10, but there's a reason why I'm giving it a 9. If it did not have all these issues that I mentioned before, before my review, I would have probably given it a stellar 10 out of 10. But with the glitches and the crash, I can't deny those. I have to give it some love. But you know what? 9 out of 10 is not a bad score. I would have loved to give it a 10 out of 10, but hopefully once they fix all some of these issues, it will go up to a 9 out of 10. Or sorry, 10 out of 10. But that's my review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Like always, guys, if there's anything I could, if you guys like the video, go ahead and give this video a like. If you guys want to see more reviews or streams, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell. But if you guys do me a small favor, because I could really use the feedback, go ahead and hit that. Go down in the comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. If there's anything I can do to improve, or if you guys feel like there's something I didn't cover. If you guys can think of any video games I can check out, or an idea for a vlog. I say this at all my streams, all my videos. I love reading your guys' ideas. I love reading you guys' feedback. You guys are absolutely amazing. But that's it for the review, guys. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. And I'll see you guys on the next Angry Wookiee show. Later!